Graduands, guests and colleagues, my name is Mary Howarth and I am delighted to welcome you to graduation. I have a few announcements to make before we begin so that you can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Graduands, at the appropriate time you'll be invited by the stewards to stand and to make your way to the foot of the stairs, ready to head up the stairs and across the stage. All very straightforward. There are two key things which make for a seamless ceremony. Firstly, as soon as the person ahead of you begins to cross the stage, please make sure you make your way up the stairs. Please don't wait until they've crossed the stage before you reach the top of the stairs. Secondly, don't let pride and excitement overwhelm you so much that you forget to pick up your degree parchment after you've crossed the stage. If you do, don't worry, you have still graduated. But don't try to go back because you will collide with someone coming the other way. Instead, please visit the Graduation Information Desk in the Spring Lane building 30 minutes after the ceremony to collect your parchment. At the end of the ceremony, graduates are asked to process out of the hall directed by the stewards. Family and friends, the stewards will show you to the exits once the graduates have left the hall. If the fire alarm should sound at any point, please remain in your seats, instructions will be given, and we will escort you to the nearest exit. As graduates, you will join an international community of over 123,000 York alumni in 183 countries. The York Alumni Association organises events, networks and services designed to help you make connections with other alumni across the world and to support you in your career choices. Please do visit the Alumni Association stand in the Spring Lane building where you can pick up your graduation gift to welcome you to the Alumni Association. As you move into your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us updated with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you take will help us provide the right support for current students and make sure we offer graduates like you relevant information and opportunities. Finally, please turn mobile phones to silent and, if you are able, please stand.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to the university. I now declare this congregation open for the conferment of awards. Please be seated. Sorry. As I said, a very warm welcome to the University of York for this ceremony and celebration. And the celebration it truly is, because today we celebrate the result of your hard work. And in a few moments, you will receive a degree from a world-renowned university. You will become part of the worldwide family of University of York graduates. And I'm delighted to tell you how proud the university is of you, and I'm sure your supporters, your family, your friends think so too. It has been our privilege, a real privilege, to contribute to your education. And of course, it's in that education that the real value of your time here resides. In recent years, public discourse around higher education and universities has increasingly been about universities as drivers of economic growth or as producers of a highly skilled and productive workforce. And although such utilitarian considerations are undoubtedly important, we should really not lose sight of the much wider relevance of education to society. Education is a common good, and it benefits us all in ways that are perhaps difficult to measure, difficult to quantify, but that are nonetheless very, very important. And at a time when it is more crucial than ever that people and societies and countries work together to overcome the challenges facing the world, education helps protect us from extremism, from intolerance and prejudice. Education makes us better people, and contributing to that mission is among the most valuable things a university can do. Now, people sometimes think of universities as self-contained bubbles, inward-looking communities of scholars, obsessing about abstract theory, preparing students for exams, doing research that has little or no relevance to the everyday challenges that face the world. And of course, nothing could be further from the truth. Through fundamental research, through applied research, universities contribute to solving the many challenges that face humanity. And I don't have to remind you that these challenges are stark. Think about how climate change threatens our ability to produce enough food and clean water for the world's growing population. In many of the world's megacities, pollution is now so great that human health is at real risk. We've seen the largest mass migration of people since the Second World War, and that mass migration is affecting many of the poorest regions in the world. We have an aging population, which has all kinds of implications for our healthcare systems, for our social care systems, and for the general question about the distribution of society's resources across the generations. And at the same time, we see a rising distrust of evidence and expertise in policy making, a distrust that has led to the emergence of populism that targets people who feel alienated and marginalized from society. I could go on. And these are, of course, serious challenges, and we'll have to face up to them. But I'm a great optimist. I really believe that we will find solutions, eventually, to all of them, step by step. But most importantly, through your education here at the university, every single one of you can make a real contribution to this. And as you move on, I can assure you that you will continue to discover how much you have been affected by your time here at York, and how that has given you the ability to create solutions, to forge collaborations across borders if need be, and to take decisions based on evidence and not prejudice. I would also like to use this occasion to reflect just for a moment on the challenges that many of our graduates, that you might encounter. And some of these challenges, of course, have always existed. Moving back in with your parents after 3 or 4 years of total freedom is difficult for all those concerned. We know that. But I would like to talk about the challenges that applies to this generation of graduates. The very high levels of employment in this country and in other countries as well would suggest that finding a job, and for many of you that will be a first proper job, should not be too difficult. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Many of our graduates rightly compete for the very best jobs, the jobs that will really do justice to their talents and their efforts. And for those jobs, they often face global competition. And as the number of graduates grows worldwide, that competition is now probably harder than ever before. So, undoubtedly, competition for employment will place many of you under pressure. However, the university is entirely committed to helping its graduates succeed in the world of work, and we are rightly very proud of our record here. The university's employment outcomes are absolutely stellar. We are third in the Russell Group, if you look at the proportion of our graduates in work or further study, and we aim to do better still. So the message for you is, we are here, and we will be here to help you and support you in every way we can to help you succeed. Another challenge I see is one you might find somewhat surprising, perhaps counterintuitive, but I think it can be a difficult one nonetheless. Graduates today have far more options and choices open to them than graduates had in the past. Digital technology, ubiquitous connectivity, global mobility have created a truly bewildering world of opportunities and choice, of possibility. And social media show us detailed examples of lives that are lived in every imaginable way possible, in very diverse ways, that are often very different from the way in which we lead our own lives. So, whilst there's never been more competition in the world, there's never been more choice either. And you might think that more choice is always better, but I don't think that's always the case. There's actually some reasonably robust research that demonstrates that too much choice, too much optionality can leave people confused, stressed, and actually unable to make optimal, rational decisions. So sometimes there really is merit in simplicity, and I'm not becoming a Zen theorist here, but it's important, I think, for you that you try to simplify your space. And you can do that by trying to work out what really matters to you, what your priorities are, what your objectives are, your ambition, and follow that. And the clarity that you create by doing that, I think, will really help. So I see that as a real challenge. Of course, these are only two of the challenges that our graduates must face, and there are many others. So before we tolerate criticism of the current generation of 20-somethings, and that includes many of you, I think we should be very mindful that your circumstances are very different from those faced by young people, even as little as 10 or 15 years ago. For some, it really has become much more difficult to make their way in the world. And I'm not at all surprised, to be honest, to see the impact that has on the mental health of many young people, and that includes some of our own students. I really believe this, that my generation can and should do more to support you. And the question of fairness across the generations should be at the forefront of all of the major national policy debates. It really is that important. Anyway, let's now return to our celebration. As you've heard, since 1963, we've inspired more than 123,000 people, our graduates, to cross continents and embrace every imaginable job and profession. And despite the challenges that I mentioned, now it is your turn to go out and explore new horizons. And as you do, I really hope that you will carry with you some of the values that mean so much to us. Because we like to think that our graduates are special, not only in what they've learned, what they can do and their abilities, but in what kind of people they are. Kind people, compassionate people with an interest in understanding the world, with an interest in making the world a better place. People with a sharp intellect and good moral judgment. And if you can be like that, then I can assure you that we will all be incredibly proud of you. So from me and from all my colleagues here at the university, many, many congratulations. Well done.
Today we celebrate the achievements of students, of you, and we also want to recognise the staff who've contributed to your success. York has an outstanding record of teaching excellence, and what students will remember years after leaving here are the individual members of staff and graduate teaching assistants who have supported, challenged and inspired them. Within this backdrop of excellence and commitment in our academic staff and our professional staff, the Vice-chancellor's Teaching Award recognise and reward individuals and teams who have made a particularly outstanding contribution to the student learning experience. All holders of these awards have demonstrated through the teaching they give, through the support they give, they've demonstrated excellence, commitment to students, and this has been delivered with energy, care and commitment. So today, a Vice-chancellor's Teaching Award is being made to Dr. Hannah Forholt from the Department of History of Art.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in English. For research in the American Muldoon, Alexander Alonso. For research in Knowing and Feeling in Late Modernist Fiction, Doug Battersby. For research in Changing Representations of Charles Dickens, Emily Bell. For research in Contemporary women poets from Ireland and India, Melanie Bethela. For research in the theological poetry of Elizabeth Singer Rowe, Jessica Clement. For research in motherhood in Indian women's writing, Indrani Karmakar. For research in James Joyce and his early church, Christopher Laws. For research in W.B. Yeats, modern poetry and sculpture, Jack Quinn. For research in wastepaper in early modern England, Anna Reynolds. For research in Encountering Oceania, Bodies, Health and Disease, Duncan Robertson. For research in Rebelling Against the Tragic Plot, the novels of Frances Burney, Octavia Tam. For the degree of Master of Philosophy in English, Daisy Johnson. Benjamin May. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English, Daniel Abella. Charlotte Elizabeth Adams. Abby Anderson. Tagreed Ayas. Jessica Bacon. Scarlett Baker, Holly Barrett, Emily Rose Baxter Derrington, Robin Bell, Imogen Bellamy, Violet Bennett, Charles Benson, Eleanor Blair, Niamh Bloomfield, Amanda Borg, Emma Baludis-Turk, Ramina Braid, Hayley Braithwaite, Samuel Bright, Eleanor Bryan, Henry Brown, Madeline Brown, Caitlin Burrows, Lawrence Burton, Matthew Buxton, Siobhan Cabell, Francis Carruthers, Rebecca Chalice, Emily Chattel, Rachel Cheeseman, Harriet Clifford, Rose Glissett, Emily Coppola, Isabel Kaur, Elisa Cozzi, Sarah Dan, Emily Davey, Jack Davies, Grace Dillon, Miles Dunnett, Henry Dyer, Hapley Ayres, Tara Fair, Eva Farrington, Rosie Featherstone, Ellie Fells, Mary Floyster Julieva, Shevek Imogen Fodor, Elizabeth Foster, Lucy Furno, Nancy Gerard, Eleni Gemarello, Charlotte Gear, Emma Goff-Leggett, Imogen Green, Jessica Gwynn, Nina Halliday, Finley Harnett, Chloe Harvey, Max Hayden, Catherine Hildyard, Anna Hill, Maya Gelm, Catherine Holdsworth, Tierney Holloway, Jessica Hooper, Ellie Hopley, Katie Houston, Sam Huntley, Eliza Hunton, Samantha Harley, Polly Huckster, Lillian Highland, Darcy Inch, Ciara Jennings, Nina Kaur, Max Kelly, Francesca Killoran, Florence Leahy, Finn Levy, Jimmy Lightfoot, Sarah Lisgo, Phoebe Clanworn, Timothy Lloyd Kinnings, Mallory Lord Keir, Mika Mackay, Francesca Makey, Amy Mulcarney, Eleanor Mallet, Sylvie Marks, Fian Masson, Rosie Matthews, Jessica McElhatton, Sarah McGregor, Alicia McNay, Lara Medlam, George Mellish, Leah Merrifield, Miri Michelson, Paige Miles, Georgina Muffet, Naveen Morris, Catherine Muir, Eleanor Nash, Ben Nichol, April Norfolk, Martha Owen, Madeline Philbin, Jessica Phillips, Henna Rana, George Rayson, Sophie Reaper, Alexander Reid, Ilaria Remotti, Mariana Rios Sanchez, Emily Roberts, Marsha Rodionova, Kate Rothwell, Lois Rushworth, Jake Russell, Ethan Savage, Victoria Saveno, Jessica Sewell, Anna Shave, Chloe Cheville, Lucy Simpson Walker, Rebecca Smith, George Staddon, Timothy Stedman, Emily Taylor, Rob Tibcombe, Calder Truan Marshall, Emma Trivedi, Caitlin Turpin, Emily Walsh, Ellie Ward, Sarah Jasmine Ward, Eleanor Waterhouse, Hannah Waters, Arabella Watkins, Martha Watson, Kate Weedy, Samuel Wells, Daniel Welton, Martha Wharton, Kate Whittaker, Sharon Wilkinson, Georgia Winston Cooper, Amelia Relton, Eve Marie Wright.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensemble Eonomy will perform Moon Dance by Van Morrison and arranged by George Clark, followed by Bridge Over Troubled Water by Paul Simon and arranged by Ellie Pybus.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance with the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. And I'm trying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that play soft and low. And all the night good day seems to whisper, and all the sun of good night seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have some more dance with you? My love, can I just make some more dance with you? My love. Well, I wanna make love to you tonight. I can't wait for the morning to come. And now I know now the time is just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when you come, my heart will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. There and then all my dreams will come true. There and then I will make you my own. When you got there time I touch you, and you just cry. And now I know how but you want me that you can hide. Can I just some dance with you? My love, can I make some dance with you? Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my when you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Times get rough, and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down. Sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine. Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your mind, like a bridge over troubled water. I will ease your I will ease your mind.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English and History, Nikita Azim. Sienna Bahi. Aaron Baker. Ella Francesca Hope Barker. Dominic Beards. Iona Booth. Grace Carter. Sarah Clues. Aaron Crump. Poppy Duggan. Sasha Ellis. Henry Farnington. Emily Fole. Hayley Green. Matilda Caldwell. Sarah Horton. Reese Maggs. Elizabeth Millard. Naomi Ramshaw. Patrick Reeves. Evangeline Smith. Nikita Tiara. Raphael Thomas. Millie Tudball. Kirsty Williamson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English and History of Art, Sarah Fay. Victoria Fishpool. Harry Gardner. Rosalie Gardner. Rebecca Gill. Lauren Hobson. Lena Litzawa. E.J. Kim. Eleanor Victoria Lovejoy. Jessica Rose. Natana von Uczko. Stephanie Yupp. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English and Philosophy, David Alsop. Mauricio Boico. Bertie Ford. Stella Garrett, Joe Hodgson, Jessica Hollingshurst, Rebecca Laws, James Lewis, Rebecca Sheldon. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English and Politics, Deborah Beach. Francesca Beresford, Gemma Carr, Esther Clare, Chloe Fuchs, Alana Gardiner, Hilton Garner-Jones, Alice Gilly, Alexander G, Jasmine Joshi, Melissa Kennedy, Matt Kirkham, Arabella Coffey, Francesca Medici, Madeline Malloy, Olivia Sparks, Alice Betham Walters, Benjamin Wybrow.
Vice-chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in History of Art. For research in depicting the Old Testament in Anglo-Saxon England, Elizabeth Alexander. For research in Eating the Lotus, neoclassical sculpture by women, Melissa Landreth Gustin. For research in the stained glass of York Minster circa 1450 to 1802, Louise Hampson. For research in the late medieval glass of Winchester Cathedral, Anya Halpern. For research in ceramic art and design in 20th century Italy, Helen Shaw. For research in IMP's Museum Architecture, Leah Jiao. For the degree of Master of Arts by Research in History of Art, Deirdre Thackeray. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, Tracy Bilucci. Georgina Bate. Christy Bellhouse, Amy Berwick, Eleanor Bamra, Olivia Burks, Petra Biro, Emma Blackburn, Chloe Bullen, Chloe Carbis, Lily Cheetham, Hee-Yan Chen, Philippa Davies, Zoe Jessica Dawson, Amelia Delamuro, Ekaterina Dubinskia, Mark Edwards, Ella Flavel, Devon Headley, Natasha Jones, Victoria Comma, Vera Kozak, Marina Lewis. Georgina Mark. Francesca Moruzzi. Nikita Neela. Rose Pauling. Minnie Peck. Leah Porter. Caitlin Powell. Rianne Roberts. Elsa Russell. Laura Singleton. Hannah Louise Smith. Megan Smith. Celia Teagan. Charlotte Truman. Sophie Vaughan. Inez Zamora Serra.
It is my enormous pleasure to introduce our student orator, Natasha von Uxkull, who will speak on behalf of the class of 2018. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at the University of York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2018, I give you Natasha von Uxkull.
Hello everyone. My mortarboard doesn't fit me very well, so I'm going to just take that one off. Before I begin talking about myself today, I'd just like to offer a huge congratulations to everybody graduating today. Well done everyone. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, on to myself now. As a child, I was incredibly shy. In primary school, I wet myself for fear of asking to use the bathroom. Bit embarrassing. In secondary school, I struggled to find my own voice amidst the cliques. Moving to York might not seem a radical move, a 2-hour train journey from home, but for me it was quite a big deal. As my family walked away from my tiny room in Derwent, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I felt lost, unable to conceive of my place within this big, scary, unfamiliar bubble. Recalling this, I can't help thinking, how is it now that I'm addressing the congregation at my graduation? Good question. Well, I must say the unexpected opportunities York offered me surprised me. I'm sure you'll all have had unexpected opportunities of your own that really changed your university experience outside of the academic. For me, the first step was challenging myself in seminars to speak out, but I realised I could have an even larger voice. As History of Art department representative in second year, I spoke on behalf of the entire History of Art student body. The student-run Norman Ray Art Gallery allowed me the immensely challenging but rewarding opportunity to curate my own exhibition. And recently I performed my poetry in front of a large audience at Spark Studios as part of the Northern Youth Society, words that had previously existed only in hidden computer files. At this point, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank some individuals who made this leap possible. In particular, I'd like to thank Alexandra Kingston-Rees from the English department for teaching me the continued relevance of art within contemporary literature. And secondly, I'd like to thank Cordula Van Wy from the History of Art department and Cadence Kinsey for always challenging my opinions in seminars, even when I was absolutely certain I was right. I'd also like to express my sincerest gratitude to my friends and family, most of whom are here today, who unfailingly supported and, to be honest, tolerated me during this period. I haven't actually told all of them that I'd be talking today, so if you hear a sudden eruption of sobbing, it's probably my mum. It's often said that confidence is lucky, a fortunate trait that people naturally possess. But my vision of confidence has absolutely nothing to do with luck. It is rather an intense process of self-development. My experiences at York have offered scope for immense personal achievement, but it is confidence that allows us to push past failure to reach it. My exhibition at the Norman Ray Gallery was rife with disappointments. Numerous visions for the show didn't come off because of time, budget, and practical restrictions. Some artists pulled out a few days before the show. Frantically preparing exhibit labels half an hour before opening, I felt like a total failure. But the feedback for the show was wonderful, and staring at my achievement, I couldn't quite believe it was my own. I now hold that exhibition close to my heart as one of my biggest personal achievements. Failure needn't be wholly negative. Failure may well become all too familiar once we leave York behind. We may tirelessly fill in job applications only to face rejection after rejection. I know I've already faced a few of my own. We may move back home and feel we are regressing rather than developing, or simply feel overwhelmed by the enormity of life outside of this rather wonderful bubble. But as the wonderful F. Scott Fitzgerald said, in any case, you mustn't confuse a single failure with a final defeat. So let us leave this day of celebration behind with a renewed sense that yes, the future ahead may be challenging and uncertain, but know that we will thank our small failures in our final success. Thank you very much.
Vice-chancellor, it gives me enormous pleasure to present to you Dr. Penelope Curtis, a distinguished art historian and a great curator and museum director who has forged the way in modern sculpture studies and led museums in new directions. As a scholar, Penelope Curtis is a highly original thinker who tends to take a different road from others. This was already apparent in her PhD on Antoine Bourdelle and monumental sculpture in France from 1880 to 1930, a topic that then resisted the vogue for modernism. Since then, her books and many articles have established her as one of the most distinctive and eloquent voices writing about sculpture in a multiplicity of forms, sites, and materials, from a boundary stone on the North York moors to a portrait bust cast from a death mask. Museums in 4 cities, Liverpool, Leeds, London, and Lisbon, have framed her career. When she went to Tate Liverpool in 1988, it was the first contemporary art gallery in England outside London, providing a promising start to her career. Her exhibition there helped to revive the reputation of the sculptor Barbara Hepworth, who had been neglected during the previous 25 years, but is now recognised as one of the most important sculptors of the 20th century. In Leeds, as the head of the Henry Moore Institute for 17 years, Penelope Curtis came into her own, instigating and curating over 100 exhibitions. She proved to be a brilliant curator, pursuing ideas and visual connections with courage and determination, while the unadorned elegance of her displays and catalogues revealed an impeccable eye. Without the pressure she would have felt in London to increase visitor numbers or conform to a house style, she created a daring and experimental programme. A prime example being her exhibitions of fascist and Nazi sculpture that were perceived by other museums as too controversial and risky. In this way, Penelope Curtis created a model for all of us working with art, culture and museums outside London. She has taught us that here, especially in the north, we can be bold, independent and more creative. In London, as the first woman director of Tate Britain, and one of the very few women directors of any major UK museum, she created an inspiring rehang of the permanent collection, while staging groundbreaking exhibitions such as Migrations, Art and Empire, and Queer British Art. Her remarkable resolution and independence is illustrated in one snapshot from London. In 2011, she curated a major exhibition of modern British sculpture at the Royal Academy. On entering the exhibition, instead of seeing a sculpture by Henry Moore or Barbara Hepworth, or Anish Kapoor or Rachel Whiteread, we were greeted by Lutyens' cenotaph from Whitehall. This cenotaph enters into public consciousness every year on Remembrance Sunday in November, when the Queen and our political leaders lay wreaths to remember the dead in the nation's wars. Placed in the exhibition of modern British sculpture, the cenotaph acted as an overpowering reminder of the violent political forces behind the history of 20th century art. Or, as Penelope Curtis writes herself, it is an abstract marker of loss and respect. Now the first non-Portuguese director of the Gulbenkian Museum in Lisbon, Penelope Curtis is combining what were two different collections of old and new, Eastern and Western art into one museum. As someone who brings disparate people, ideas and objects together, she is ideally suited to this role. Many successful people are motivated by their desire for money, fame or power. But Penelope Curtis is motivated by intellectual ethics, pursuing a cause in which she believes and publicly arguing its case through writing, exhibitions and museum policy. Vice-chancellor, for her contribution to the public understanding of the visual arts and particularly sculpture, I am delighted and honoured to present Penelope Curtis for the degree of Doctor of the University honoris causa.
I think I have the last word. I never expected to be awarded an honorary degree, and I never expected to accept one. For me, honorary degrees have a slightly dubious reputation, and one that goes back a long way. Just as most recently Harvard has been accused of giving away honorary degrees for political favour and financial gain, so Oxford in the 14th century gave degrees to the rich and politically powerful. However, I feel confident in saying that I have not been awarded a degree because of my financial profile or for my political connections, and that I can accept it at face value and with thanks. Nonetheless, there is something odd about the honorary degree, which perhaps has something to do with money, in that the common British sense of honorary, unlike the American, means unpaid. Is this a degree for which I do not pay? In a sense, that is right. But I come from a different moment in post-war British education, when almost no one paid, and not even a middle-class child like me. I was in the last year of students in Britain who paid nothing for their higher education. I was in the first year of Thatcher's government. I was, moreover, part of a generation that was hardly used to being marked, and hardly used to being examined. I never had my essays marked. You might think that's a blessing or not. Things have changed, of course, a lot since then. and you are doubtless still currently rather concerned by your marks. And your decision even to be here, to have come to York, will most likely already have been affected by league tables and university rankings, and you will know what is popular and what is not through votes and ranking systems. So my suggestion to you today is that you can try now to put this behind you. Marks will become less and less important as you move on in life, and so they should. Nothing interesting was ever conveyed by a marking system, and everything that matters is too complex to mark. In my own area especially, in exhibitions, I'm especially tired of being asked for lists of favourite paintings, for top tens, and for seeing the very complicated exhibition-making process reduced to a number of stars in the national papers. Art has been instrumentalised, and we are in danger of losing all that it really offers us, its subtleties, its shifts, and its uncanny ability to reinvent itself over and over, and to mean different things at different times to you and to other people. So use the skills that you are now acquiring in writing, in reasoning, and in understanding yourself in relation to others, as we just heard, to test your parameters, ask interesting questions, find out the answers, be clever enough to dare to be stupid. Ask the questions which no one else asks, and don't worry if they seem obvious. Don't feel the need to conform. Don't feel the need to go to London or whichever is your centre to make money or to fulfil the normal career path. Most of my peers, when I was a student, went straight into the city. And in the 80s and 90s, it was the natural thing to do for a bright graduate. They made lots of money. They retired 10 years ago, and now when I meet them, they're bored. I was one of the very few students among my peers who did not go to London, either to make money or to work. And I do seriously believe that outside the centre is a good place to be, especially at the beginning, thinking, asking questions, and finding your own answers. I recommend it, and I wish you all well, here in the north of England, or wherever you end up. Thank you very much.
As the ceremony is drawing to a close, may I now please ask that all our guests, not the graduates, only the guests, please stand. And may I now invite you to give our graduates a roaring round of applause, please. Very well put. On that note, I declare this congregation closed.